Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, August 24th. It is 6:18 right now. Market's going to open in about 12 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set up this room real quick, and then we can get started with our session for this morning. So just a few things here to update. Looks good. Show things over here. All right. One last thing, and we should be good to go. All right, as that updates, I'm going to go ahead and send out this link to you guys here in the premium to join the Zoom. Looks good. All right, so I'll get a few minutes for people to make their way in. All right, cool. As people join, I'm going to go ahead and mark up news price from this morning. So we had news over here at 5:30. We had core durable goods orders, and then we had pending home sales at 7. So at 5:30, we had medium impact news. It was neutral, negative. I'm going to mark that up real quick. 5:30 this morning, which was right over here. So we had medium. US news. It was neutral. I'll split neutral. Neutral and negative, I believe. Hey, Peter, morning. Negative, and then we got news coming up over here at 7 o'clock. And then I think we have one more news event at 7:30. All right, so we got a couple news events today, not too much. 7:30. The one at 7 is going to be medium, I believe. Yeah, pending home sales and crude oil inventories at 7:30. So a couple of things coming up. Hey, Peter, morning. Morning, Miles. Morning, everybody. So good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, August 24th, 6:22 right now. Market's going to open in about 8 minutes. So hopefully everyone had a decent week so far. No trades on my end on Monday. We had a couple trades yesterday. It was just all about patience, guys, because, we haven't had any losses yet, but it's really about patience and waiting for, these solid entries to come up. It's been a bit of a choppy week. If you go over here to the 1 hour chart, if you guys remember, I drew this up yesterday. Price still hasn't moved in like 3 days, right? Market's been open for a while now. It hasn't really moved too much. Price finally broke below the range that I drew. So I drew this range yesterday during the live session. I mentioned if you're waiting for it to break outside one way or the other. It broke down slightly right here. You can see it broke down, retested, and then we'll see if it confirms and continues to drop down lower. So I'll leave this up right here just so that you guys can see. I haven't touched this at all. It's the same markup that I did yesterday during the live session. So we'll leave that alone. But as the market opens shortly, I'm going to go ahead and mark up the areas of rejection here, K2SR zones, so that we can follow along and anticipate where these moves may occur. So I'm just going to stretch this out a little bit right here since they overlap. We got another one right here. Looks like price is still kind of where it was yesterday, surprisingly, because the zones look exactly the same. This zone right here, which was the same from like the day before. Yeah, price didn't really go anywhere because you can see from yesterday over here, it's in the same place. Like it's literally in the same place because the same zone over here, that was just one line. It's still there. This one right here, it just extended. So it was like back here, and then it came right back. So there hasn't been too much movement from yesterday until today. All right, so we got this all marked up right here. Let's see who's here. Morning, Patricia. Morning, Maria. Morning, everybody. A couple more people making their way in. Just looking at the chart right here, there's like a lot of red flag areas, right? And you guys can just see it just from like a bird's eye view of the chart. There's and by these red flag areas, I'm looking at these horizontal lines. There's a London low up here, news price, Asia high. So we don't typically want to trade around this area right here. Looking below, we have New York low right here. So we don't want to trade around this area either. So we can trade between this area, somewhere in between here, maybe down here as well, because we have the Asia low right here. And there's a bit of a gap between those two sessions. So hopefully we can catch something within those areas, but just keep in mind that we do not want to trade anywhere near any of these horizontal lines. These are like automatic red flags. Another horizontal line that's going to come up shortly is going to be opening price in the next 5 minutes. So just keep that in mind, guys, and just be very vigilant in this market because it might move a bit crazy when the market does open because there is like not much of a bias. So looking over here at the sentiment, as you guys can see, sentiment is starting to shift. Earlier in the week is about like 65%, it went down to 58%. So right now we don't even have a strong overall bias. We still have a bullish bias right now. It's basically neutral and bullish because it shows that 58% of retail traders are currently selling right now. So you still want to do the opposite of them. But our threshold for this bias here is 60%. So it's currently at 58, doesn't meet the threshold, but it still looks like it's going to possibly push in that direction. Steven is asking, okay, Sean, let me know if breakout entry is safe to take. I'll let you know, but I'm not taking the breakout, Steven. Nothing's changed since the last time you asked for it. We're not taking the breakout right now. It's still the same process that we've been doing for the past couple of weeks now. We're only applying the K2SR rejection. So I'll let you know if it's there, if I can even spot it, because if we have an SR rejection, I'm focusing on SR rejection, not the breakout. So I'll try to let you know, Stephen, but just letting you know ahead of time, I'm not taking the trade. So if I'm not taking it, you probably shouldn't take it either. Morning, Rashida. Morning, Slava. Morning, Professor. Morning, Marco. Morning, Stephen. Morning, everybody. So yeah, I mean, if you want to take it, Stephen, you can just take it with a smaller lot size, but just be smart about it. Don't over leverage. You got to follow directions. So you have to do basically what we're telling you. Morning, David. Steven's asking 5 lots and close at 500. Steven, I don't know, bro. I don't even know where you're getting these numbers from. I mean, you can do whatever you want, Steven. I never told you to use 5 lots. I never told you to close at 500. I'm not sure where you're getting these numbers from. I mean, if that's what you feel comfortable with, then go ahead and do it, Steven. But, if you want to go back, just go back and reread like all the messages we've had. Just search lot size, because we've had this discussion with lot size, and you were over leveraging last time, and that's how you blew the account. So just go back and reread our messages, Steven. I'm going to be trading right now, so all of your messages, I'm just going to have to either mute you or I'm just not going to be following along, okay? Because we got to focus on the trades. Market is opening in about 2 minutes, guys. Morning, Kenny. Morning, everybody. But yeah, Steve, if you have questions, you feel free to put them in the chat, but I'm probably gonna skip over them. I don't mean to do that, but I can't have you like spamming the chat while we're looking for trades. Okay. Morning, Stern. All right, guys, market is opening shortly in about 2 minutes. As I mentioned, retail sentiment right now is currently 58% short. So we have a light bullish bias. It's not very strong. It's going to be pretty neutral. Looking over here at the fundamentals are currently down 32 points. So there's no bias here either. This is basically neutral to bullish with regard to sentiment. This is straight neutral with regard to fundamentals. Looking over here on the technical side, we currently are bearish. So short-term bias right now is bearish. And the reason for that is because the trend meter right here is currently red and the pivots over here angling down with red over green. So with that said, we're probably going to be looking for sells here on open, but that can easily change shortly thereafter. So just keep that in mind. We're about 260 pips away from the sessions over here, and then about 450 pips from these sessions above here. So it's going to be a bit of a tight squeeze if we look to take any trades around these areas, but we'll try to see if we can squeeze anything in. If I'm taking anything, I'll let you guys know. Just pay attention to my analysis. I'm going to be giving you guys updates all throughout the session, depending on like which direction I plan on taking, what trades I plan on taking, and what requirements still need to be filled for the entry here. So, all right, guys, market is opening in about 10 seconds. Morning, Matt, morning, Stern, morning, Jesus. Let's get started. So market is opening in 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Market is now open, guys. So let's see where this is going. Price is pushing up right here. It's coming right back down. Huge wick on the top side. Price is pushing down below in the direction of the short-term trend, but is getting a little too close to the sessions right here. We don't have a sell signal, so in order for us to take a sell entry, we need a sell momentum signal, and then we also need a moderate red candle. Everything else is met because we do have the overall or short-term trend right here identified for a sell. We just need that wick rejection, which we do have right here with a sell signal and a moderate red candle. So we have about 20 seconds left on this candle. This candle will probably close. I will mark it up. I'm not going to take the trade though, because it's right at the red flag, which is right here, the New York low, which is an area of manipulation. So I'll mark this up right here. I'll just follow it if it does close, but I'm not going to be taking it. So just FYI, no entry there. Reason for that is because there was no moderate red candle and no red signal that close on that candle. So no entry off that. Right here, we have another red candle. We need this to reject off the structure right here in order to satisfy that requirement. Price has rejected off it. We just need a red sell signal with a moderate red candle. But again, the session is still right there. So it doesn't matter. Even if we get the entry, we won't be able to take it. I'll follow along, but as I mentioned, we're going to be waiting for a better confirmation. In order for us to take a sell, we probably want a price to spike up to this area right here, like any of these zones right here, and then catch the rejection from that point and then write it back down. That's pretty much what we'd be looking for here. Back to your question earlier, Steven, there's no breakout yet. So if you're still following it, feel free, but I'm not going to be taking the breakout. I'll try to let you know if it comes up, but it doesn't look like it's come up yet. So still waiting for this here. Again, another wick rejection off the structure, pending sell signal. If it closes as a moderate red candle, this would technically be an entry for an SR rejection, but it's right at the red flag right here, which is the New York low. And you can see where price rejected directly off it. This is why you don't want to trade at these horizontal lines, because they become an area of manipulation. You can't really confirm whether price is going to bounce off it or price is going to break below. So we'll follow along just to confirm the entries, even though they are risky, but we're not going to be taking it. So this candle right here has about 10 seconds left. Pending sell signal. Again, no entry off that. There's no sell signal. Everything was met except the requirement for the sell signal and the moderate red candle. So here we go. As price continues to drop lower. There's no rejection off structure over here, so still no entry. Let me go and mark up the opening price right here. So Steven, if you're still looking for the breakout, there's still no breakout. In order for this to be the breakout candle, you need the sell signal to close out, which hasn't closed yet. Spread's 180 right now. Thanks, Steve, for the update. All right. All right, so we got a sell signal right there, but it's not a strong red candle for the breakout. There's also no wick rejection for any of the entries at this point. So all in all, there's still no entry here, even if you wanted to take it for the breakout, because the red flag is still present. So Stephen, even if you wanted the entry, there's no breakout today. It's right at 634. If the breakout doesn't happen within the next couple minutes, there's not going to be any entries for you to take with regard to the breakout. Thanks for the update, Alexander. Spread just went up again. Spread's now at 190 on FTMO. So you guys want to be very careful. You guys have been following this yesterday. You know, when the spread gets super wide like that, it's a sign of price sit out the market, because you don't want to get caught in the trade and not be able to pull out. I know some of you guys yesterday had an issue with the trade that we took due to the wide spread. Some of you guys got stuck in it and weren't able to pull out on time. Patricia said spread's nuts on all props right now. Yeah, it's moving pretty crazy. If you guys didn't hear, like Apple is or not Apple, I think Tesla is going through a stock split right now, or they've announced it today. So market might be a little crazy. Probably not for US30, because Tesla's not in US30, but for NASDAQ, it probably is kind of all over the place. Let's take a look at the fundamentals right now. Fundamentals are currently down 64 points. Sentiment over here is still at 58%. So not too much has changed. This is still, overall bias is still somewhat bullish, but neutral overall. Short-term bias over here with regard to technicals is still bearish. So, all right, nothing for us to take here yet. And this doesn't look like it's going to be a really good trading day, because now that we have opening price right here, we have a lot of red flag areas. So if you guys are not familiar with the red flags, let me go ahead and put them up right here. So basically, areas that you want to avoid trades would be when price is near sessions. All the sessions here are going to be this red horizontal line, this purple horizontal line, and this green one, right? So we can't trade around certain areas like this. We can't trade around here. We can't trade around here. And we can't trade above it either right there. So these are basically no trade areas. The next one is you don't want to be trading your opening price. So again, right here, you can't trade down the middle. Next, you don't want to be trading near news price. So that's again up here. This is medium impact news at 5:30. Let's put the time there so we know exactly where the news event happened. So as you guys can see, there's not going to be much room for us to take any trades. We have news price here, the sessions opening price right here. And we can't really take anything until price drops maybe around this area and creates a zone, or breaks below even further. So if price comes down here, we can look for some sells. If price comes down here, we can look for some sells. Or if price pushes up here, then we can look for some buys. But it's a long way from where price currently is. Price is currently right here. That's about almost 1,000 pips away. And then same with this. This is almost 1,000 pips in the other direction, if not more. So we'll see. I mean, hopefully we can find something, but today's just not looking like a a good trading day. Unfortunately, there's just a lot of red flags around the area. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up so that you guys don't, take any bad trades. Because the thing is, you guys are more than welcome to take any trades you guys want, but just keep in mind that there's a lot of areas of manipulation, which are going to be right here, and down here. So, don't be surprised if you take a trade and then all of a sudden price reverses on you all randomly, right? Because price was probably at one of these areas here, which we are avoiding. So just keep in mind. Yeah, and Pat said another heads up, news event at 7:30. It's restricted on FTMO equals account risk. So I'm not sure if it's restricted for US30, but for sure it'll probably be restricted for any FX pairs, like basically any US pairs. I don't know if they've changed the rules, but the last time I checked, they mentioned that US30 doesn't have any restricted news. It might have changed since then, but I would still avoid it anyways because we have the news here marked up regardless. So we can't take any trades 5 minutes before or after news event. So like even if that news was coming up here at 7:30, I wouldn't be taking trades between that time anyways. So either way, we're still abiding to those rules, Patrick, even though they don't affect our our accounts. And that's just it's just safe measures, right? Precautionary, so that we don't get caught in any of these spikes and stuff. So here we go, as price starts to push to the upside. This is what the overall bias is, if you guys remembered. So this is no surprise that price is correcting back to the upside. We did have a bullish bias. It wasn't very strong, but it was bullish with regard to the overall bias due to the sentiment over here being 58%, now 57%. So this is what kind of sucks. When this starts to become kind of flat like this and it's not over 60%, that's when price starts to range very often, right? Like right now, if you look at the price from yesterday, this is what I drew up yesterday during the live, right? As you can see, price isn't really doing anything. Like price was already around here yesterday at 6 a.m. So you can see right here, 6 a.m. This is live from yesterday. Back over here, price is barely pushed. So from 6 a.m. up until now, price is literally only pushed about 1,400 pips. That's nothing. If you go back to like pre-summer over here in like May, all right, so like from May, this is May one morning up until May the next day, basically pushed like 10,000 pips. So you guys can see the huge difference there. 10,000 pip move versus a 1,000 pip move with today's market. So just keep that in mind, guys. We're still in the summer conditions. Summer is still not over. So we're still going to be running into a lot of these consolidation markets. As we get closer to September, mid-September, late September, that's where the market will start to move a lot more volatile. Right now, we don't really have much movement. I'm hoping by the time we get to news over here at 7 o'clock, price is going to spike one way or the other. Because if it spikes above, great, we'll look for trades over there. If it spikes below, great, we'll look for trades down here, right? But right now, price is like right in the middle of all of the areas that we want to avoid. All right, so price is pushing above right here. If I do see entries, even if they're risky, I will identify them, but I'm not looking to take them, guys. So just keep that in mind, right? Everything that I'm analyzing over here, I'm just analyzing as possible entries. If the red flags weren't present and if we had an actual bias. So right now, you can see the trend meter is currently blue. So it's neutral at the moment. And you can see right here, the pivots are starting to shift to the upside. So we can't take any buys yet, but it looks like if the trend meter here does turn green, we can start to look for some buys. They're going to be considered risky trades because the pivots and the trend meter do not align, but they'll still be considered risky entries. So risky entries, not necessarily safe entries, but we'll just mark them up so that you guys can follow them. Because I know some of you guys here still like taking the risky entries, even though they don't align with all of the criteria that we look for here. Yeah, Dell said earnings for Salesforce today. Yeah, were they released already, Dell? Or are they being released mid-session or after a session? Because if that's the case, I'm pretty sure Salesforce is in the index, or maybe they're not. Yeah, they are. So they're part of the index right here. Let me refresh real quick. Because if they do really well, then they can possibly push price. It doesn't look like they've made much of a change. They've moved up like less than a point. So I don't think it's been released yet. It might be released after this session or after the trading session in general. So we're still waiting. Nothing to take yet at the moment. Price is pushing up. Trend meter here is green. So if you see a wick rejection off the bottom and a moderate green candle, this would technically be an entry for a K2SR rejection, but it wouldn't fit the criteria because the red flags are literally right in front of it right here. So if you were to take a buy at some point here, it just wouldn't meet the criteria because it would have to pass through those red flags in order to reach its TP, right? So I'll mark it up if it comes up, but I'm not going to be taking it. So no official trades until we're away from all of these red flags over here. This candle's got about 20 seconds left on it. It's fine if price closes below here. We actually want it to close around this area because that's the only way that we can get that wick rejection off these structures here, right? So in order for us to get the wick rejection, price needs to pull back at least a little bit. And it needs to be within the zone or pull back enough to touch the zone and then swing right back up. So this is one thing to look out for. As I mentioned, these horizontal lines are areas of manipulation. So one of two things will happen here. You'll see price either reject off these horizontal lines and come back down, or you'll see it break through and shoot up. This is why we don't take trades where these horizontal lines are, because it's an area of manipulation, right? You have a 50-50% chance of guessing whether price is going to shoot above it or whether it's going to bounce off it. You don't want to take trades like that because it's going to be nearly impossible for you to be consistent if you're taking gambling trades like that, right? Like you'll get lucky here and there. And you can see right here, look at this candle. See how this big wick came off these horizontal lines? There's no surprise because I just explained to you guys that that's why we don't trade those areas. Because right here, you don't know if price is going to break above or it's going to come back down and reject. So yeah, I mean, you guys can get lucky trading off these areas, but it's not a chance that I'm willing to take, right? And I don't want to teach you guys bad habits taking risky trades like that. There are ways to trade like that. Like I have traded like that before. Not necessarily the best way of trading, but it does work sometimes. Like for example, I would trade, like if I was to see a rejection off this point, or if I thought price was going to bounce off it, I would just take a trade literally on that point. And I'd go for 500 pips, right? A 1-to-1. It's a 50-50% chance of winning. I would trade in the direction of bias and I would literally just catch it as it faked out and came right back up. So there's ways to trade off of these red flags because price has to go one way or the other. But it's not necessarily recommended because you want to make sure that you have a high probability trade. Like you want to focus on quality trades rather than these 50-50 trades where you could win or you could lose. So, maybe at some point, I know a lot of people have been asking me to host like a more advanced class for the advanced traders in K2, where I can show you guys a lot of these more riskier trades that, they do work, but they are risky. But there goes like a little sample of like how you can trade red flags, basically. It's just for a lot of the new traders here. I don't want to teach you guys bad habits. So once you guys get down the basics and you guys actually have this stuff down, then you can start to play around with these riskier trades. But it's not for everybody because I don't want you guys blowing accounts trying to trade these types of strategies that are very risky. So again, right here, price is back at the Sessions, as you can see, not really much going on here. I mean, this technically would be considered a SR rejection, I guess. There's a rejection off there. Trend meter is green. Pivots here are shifting to a bullish trend. So if there was no red flags here, this could possibly be considered a SR rejection entry, because you can see from down here, wick rejection, trend is bullish, momentum is bullish, price is pushing up. The only reason we want to take it is because price is right at these red flags. So before it can reach its TP, it can just bounce off and come right back down. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, Talonji said, yeah, snipes work pretty often using sessions as the SR zones, but wasn't 100%. Yeah, exactly. You guys are more than welcome to make whatever adjustments that you guys like to the strategies, but just keep in mind that, you know, before you actually trade those live, that you guys have actually tested it, because I'm just giving you guys a foundation of how to trade using my indicators, my strategies, but you guys are always open to make your own tweaks to them. Like what Talonji said, Talonji would use the sessions instead of the SRs. Like it worked, but not like 100%. All right. So again, right here, another rejection of the SRs. I mean, not the SRs, the sessions, and still no direction. Back here in the 1 hour, looks like it's coming back to retest the zone right here. It's pretty neutral. There's a lot of high lows right here though, so there's a lot of liquidity sitting on top. Let's see. So we got news coming up in about 10 minutes. I'm really hoping that it pushes away from these points right here. So we needed to get away from these points in order for us to look for entries. This point, and this point down here. So we need to get away from these areas so that we can start looking for safer trades. But it looks like it's going to take some time. Hopefully when this news event happens, it's just going to spike out of the area. So I'm looking for it to possibly, I think an upward spike would be better. Spike up here, come back for the retest, and then we can catch an entry off this point. So this would be best case scenario. But I don't think it'll push that far out. It's about a 1,000 pip move. Yeah, about 800 pips. It's got a long way to go. Again, right here, as you guys can see, another horizontal line price is bouncing off of. This is why you avoid these horizontal lines. This is opening price, this blue line. So price came down, rejected directly off that blue line. Now, one of two things are going to happen. Price is either going to correct back to the upside, or it's going to break through and continue dropping. Two different scenarios. And you can see right there, it's pushing up pretty strong. All right. So I'm going to try to give you guys as much examples as possible, especially so that you guys understand these red flags. Hopefully it's starting to make sense to you guys while we don't trade around those areas, because you can see that price bounced off it. You could have taken the buy right there and gone faked out. Price came right back down. Or you could have done the opposite. You know, you could have taken the sell here, got faked out for the buy, and then now it's coming right back down. It's just a lot of areas here that you guys want to be careful for, because you just want to make sure that you're looking for quality over quantity, because you can take like 100 trades here. Like if you really wanted to scalp every single trade, you can take these rejections off the SRs for like quick moves, because you can see right here, price came up, rejected off the SR. It's an easy 100 pips. Rejected off the SR, easy 100 pips. There's like 3 rejections right there, or 4. And then again, right here, rejection off the opening price, another 100 pips. So there's like countless ways to trade off these tools that we have here. It just depends on like you understanding and knowing how to do them. Because you guys can't just take random trades. You should only be taking trades if there is a valid entry there, applying any of the strategies that you know of. So here we go. Price faked out right here, rejected off it, faked out, then came back down. Now it's breaking below. So as I mentioned, when price gets to this point, it'll do one of two things: reject off it or break down below. So now that it's breaking down below, the next area of question would be the next session. But we do have news coming up right here at 7 o'clock. So it's probably going to affect the market one way or the other. Let's see. John said I got that wick rejection or wick reversal at 6:45. I got full FP, or I think he meant TP, but went through massive drawdown. So let's see. John actually took, gosh, yeah, so John actually took the wick rejection right here off the 6:45 candle. He went into some drawdown because price pushed back up, and then it came right back down to his TP. So we got news coming up right here in about 5 minutes, guys. So if you guys are looking for any entries here on the 1 minute, this is probably your time to wait. As Maddie referred to last time during our other session, he doesn't trade 5 minutes before, 5 minutes after. Typically, that's where the market starts to move kind of funky as it prepares for the news event. This right here at 6:45 is going to be, or 7 o'clock is going to be a medium impact news event. It is pending home sales. I'm pretty sure this is going to be negative. So just keep that in mind. This is going to be negative, but I wouldn't be surprised if price gets manipulated and still pushes up, even though the news is negative. I'm pretty sure that the pending home sales is going to be less than anticipated. So we'll see. And if it drops, great. We have another zone down here that just came up. So either way, price pushes down or pushes up, we have areas to trade at. So if price does push below here, actually, this would be good. So I would like price to push down here, retrace up, provide a rejection and continuation right here where we can take the sell. So that's kind of what I'm looking for over here. The only problem that you guys want to be careful for is that if this becomes the case, you'll see here that price is going to be super overextended, right? Because price pretty much ranged below here, came back up, came back down. If price gets to this point, what do you think is going to be due? Retracement, right? And if price does reject off this point right here, you'll see that we'll have a double bottom. So no surprise here. There's a couple scenarios that can play out. When price reaches this point, we can get a double bottom right here. And then that double bottom will be the retracement. I think this is what will happen. Price will come down. It'll double bottom right here. It'll push up a little bit, fake out. People will try to take the buys here because you're looking for that double bottom. And then price will just come right back down. Right? You always got to be like 2 steps ahead of the game, guys. So like whenever you guys are analyzing something, think of what could happen after. What's the best case scenario? What's the worst case scenario, right? Best case scenario here is price comes down, double bottoms, and then it actually reverses, right? That's going to be best case scenario. Worst case scenario here, if you're looking for that, is that price will come down. It'll go and basically double bottom off this point, fake out, and then come right back down and stop you out, right? So that's kind of how you guys will analyze, or how you guys should be analyzing trades. Whenever you guys are analyzing trades, you should already analyze whether you're going to lose the trade or whether you're going to win the trade, so that you know which way to trade. Because if you're looking for this right here for a double bottom and you already know you're going to lose it, or you think you're going to lose it, then do the opposite, right? Take a sell. Why would you take the buy if you know you're going to lose the trade? Vice versa, if you're looking for the double bottom here and you think this is going to be a fake out, why would you take the buy, right? Take the sell. So just keep that in mind. Whenever you guys analyze a trade, you should always put scenarios in place. I feel like whenever people look for trades, it's so linear, right? You're only here looking. So a normal person would only see this as a double bottom. There's no way that they're looking for a sell here. They're just looking for the buy. And that's how people lose trades, because you don't really fully analyze the chart. You have to really determine, what are the chances of you losing? If you really think you're going to lose the trade, then why take the trade? Take the opposite direction. And that's just, it just comes from experience, because I've been trading for so long. I've lost a lot of trades. I've won a lot of trades. My main goal here is just to not lose. So for me personally, instead of taking the opposite trade, I just wouldn't trade it, because if my probability isn't there, if I don't have like an idea that I have maybe, a 70 to 80% chance of winning that trade, I'm just going to skip it, because I'm just gambling at that point. So just keep that in mind, guys. Whenever you guys are analyzing trades, always look ahead. You got to be 2 steps ahead of the game. If you're not, you're probably going to end up like the sheep. You're going to get slaughtered and you're going to get stopped out. So just always be thinking. That's what I recommend. Always be thinking. All right, so we got news coming up right here in a minute. Let's see what happens when news comes out. I'm pretty sure the news is going to be negative. If the news is negative, we'll see how the market reacts to it. News is coming out in about 30 seconds. $20 seconds. Just be really logical with your ideas, guys. So just because news is coming out and you think that news is going to be positive or news is going to be negative, don't just chase a sell, or like vice versa. Don't take the buy if you think price is going to do the opposite of what's released. So, all right, news is now released, guys. Let's check real quick and see where it goes. Let's see, refresh this real quick. News is actually positive. So, I mean, it wasn't necessarily good news, but it was better than anticipated. So anticipation was that pending home sales were going to be pretty low. They're still pretty low. I mean, they're still negative 1% from last month. But they're not as bad as they were anticipating. So let's see where price reacts to it. You can see our price is pushing up slightly, not very heavily, but slightly. Once this closes, I'm going to mark up news price. Yeah, Maddie mentioned hopefully it stays near opening price. Yeah, I can see that happening. It's probably going to fake out right here and then come right back down. So this candle here is now done. I'm going to mark up news price for that. This is going to be medium impact US news, 7 o'clock, positive. All right, so there he goes. Price pushes up a little bit. Let's see, Maddie mentioned I can see a manipulated push up, then drop back down to news price. Yeah, I could see that too, Maddie. That's kind of what I'm anticipating right here. It's just a fake out, looks like. It's faking out, and it's going to swing right back down. But just looking at these candles right here, so this right here was actually an SR entry. Obviously, it wouldn't be one that we would take because it was right before news, but there was an SR entry that was right there. And it looks like, let's see if it would have hit. Yeah, it would have hit the TP right there. So the reason for that SR entry is that there was a wick rejection on structure. We had a sell momentum. Trend meter was red. Pivots were bearish. That would have been a straight win right there. This next one right here would have been not an entry. It's not a moderate red candle. And I think that's about it. Let's see. Yeah, no, there was red flags. I was just mentioning that if there was no red flags around this area, Maddie, there would be an entry there. So, I mean, there would be no entry around any of these right here. Like none of these entries that would come up would be an entry because of obvious reasons, red flags. So you're exactly on point, Maddie. So as you guys can see right here, this is what Maddie just referred to. If you look over here on the chat, you guys can see that Maddie said, I can see a manipulated push up and drop back down to news price, right? That's exactly what happened. Price pushed up right here, rejected off this area, and then it came right back down to news price. So it's the same pattern, guys. Like Maddie here identified this because this is what typically happens. You know, it was positive news. People kind of bandwagoned onto those buys, but then it came right back down. So it just lured people in here to trap them for a fake out, and then it came back down to stop everybody out. So just keep that in mind, guys. Don't fall for these traps. Or I mean, you can trade them. You could actually trade them. If you see it as a trap, you can catch it on its way back down. You know, as I mentioned, I teach you guys a foundation here, but once you guys pick up on, you know, these little nuances in the market, you guys are more than welcome to take advantage of them because these patterns repeat themselves almost every time. So nice call right there, Maddie. John said it's at the 200 MA, and that's a danger zone for him. So we'll see where price goes from that point. Deswell's asking if any trades have been taken. No, there hasn't, Deswell. There's all these red flags everywhere. We got sessions, we got news, we got an opening price, we have more news down here. We have another sessions below here. So we can't take any trades around this area. They're all red flags. We're waiting for price to push above it so we can trade above this area over here, or if price pushes below here so we can take trades down here where there's no red flags. But yeah, no, nice call, Maddie, on that analysis right there. So if you were able to identify that, or if you knew what to look for right there, you could have taken the sell when you saw the rejection price coming back down. But it's all good. You know, it's all learning experience. Once you are comfortable with that, you can start taking riskier trades like that. But for now, you know, just get better at analyzing the charts. So here goes price drops below. This is what we're looking for. So I want price to come back below here, provide a rejection off this point and push down lower so we can take that continuation sell off this zone right here. But one thing that you guys want to keep in mind is that when price comes lower right here, there is a possibility of a double bottom rejection. Right. We got the rejection right here. This could be the double bottom if it comes down further. So just keep in mind. But yeah, I mean, it's just a game of patience, guys. It's 7:05 right now. Next news event's coming up at 7:30. Hopefully we can catch at least one trade before price reaches this point right here. As you know, as I've been reminding you guys, the summer session is a ranging and consolidating period, right? This is why a lot of people don't do well trading during the summer because they don't know how to trade these ranging markets. Our SR strategy is perfect for these conditions as long as there are no red flags. There's a ton of red flags over here, so we need price to drop below here in order for us to take that entry. So sit tight, guys. There's a lot of entries here that are coming up. They're just not good entries because, you know, obvious reasons here. Let's see how far this has dropped. So we'll continue with this. All right. All right, so price is right back up to where it was earlier. So not really much going on. Price is just ranging around this area here now. So here's the markup we drew yesterday. You can see that price isn't doing anything. Price is literally back to where it was yesterday. This is where price was during our live session yesterday. And this is where price is now. Hasn't done anything. This was like literally 24 hours ago. Yep. From this area to this area where price is still at, it's been 1 day and 2 hours. That's summer conditions for you guys. Patricia said MFF is frozen. So if you guys are trading right now and you guys are wondering what's going on, MFF is frozen. FTMO's spread is back down to 150 though, so that's looking good. We typically want it to be around 130, 140. 150 is okay. It's not great, but it's still okay. And we'll see where it goes from here. All right. All right. So let's see. This right here would technically be a risky buy for an SR rejection. Let me mark it up for you guys right here. Not one that I would necessarily take, but it would be considered a risky buy. It looks like it's going to hit TP, and it did. So the reason why this here was a buy is because we have a bullish momentum right here. We have, actually, no, sorry guys, never mind. I take that back, sorry. I thought I saw a wick rejection right there, but it's not. It's like on the actual zone. Oh no, sorry. My mistake. I was looking at the one prior. So yeah, this one right here is an actual entry. There is a wick rejection off the zone right here. We have a bullish momentum. The trend meter is green. The only red flag about this is that the pivots here aren't confirmed. So they are shifting to the upside, but they aren't confirmed. So this right here might be an actual buy. Actually, it's not because it's dropping down too heavy. But this one over here was. Yeah, I probably would have FOMO'd into this trade right here because all the requirements are met, but I didn't take it. I just don't like the area where it's currently at right now. Actually, no, you're right. Yeah, Patrick just also mentioned that it was at opening price. Yeah, I couldn't see the blue line right there, but I could see it right here on the side. So never mind, I take that back. I wouldn't have FOMO'd into the trade. If there was no opening price here, it would have been good though. It's just a lot of bad areas here. So opening price, and FOMO meter starting to kick in. So I'm trying to see right here if there's going to be enough space for us to take a possible buy if it does close. So if this closes above here and then we get another wick rejection off one of these zones right here, I think we should be fine because there's no red flags here, but it is getting close to this purple line, which is the Asia high. So let's see if this candle here provides an entry for us because it does give us at least some space here to take a trade. However, we don't want it to be too close to this purple line right here, which is going to be our red flag, obviously. Let's see. Question from Maria. She said pivots are red. D's asking, is the pivots not being correct something you'll skip? So we've covered this before, guys. So if you guys haven't seen the mentoring sessions, you guys probably want to go rewatch it. These entries over here would be considered risky because the pivots here are not aligned with the trend meter, but the pivots are shifting to the upside. So you can see that they're starting to make that crossover right here. So you can still take trades. It's just going to be considered risky. It's not going to be considered a high quality trade because the pivots here aren't aligned with the trend meter. But the requirements only require that you have one. So looking over here at these SR rejections, you can see right here for that requirement, or let's just follow this first, guys. 1 second. It's getting close to the sessions though, so I'm not sure if this is one that I would want to take. About to watch it, but no, it looks like the candle's not going to close moderate. Let's see, 4 seconds left. No, candle's too small. That would have been good though. Look at it's going to hit. Looks like it's going to hit CP right there. But anyways, back to what I was saying, guys. So for the second requirement here, it says confirm trading the direction of trend using the K2 trend meter and K2 pivots 3 and 4. So you only need one of them to confirm, right? You need the pivots to confirm or the trend meter. If you have only one, then it's going to be considered risky. If you have both, then that's going to be considered a high quality trade because all the requirements are met. And then you also have the confirmation of a strong trend. So if you do see something here and it looks good and you see these crossing over, then you're basically entering a trade prior to the confirmation of, quality trade. So you can take it, but it's going to be considered risky. So just keep that in mind, guys. You just need one or the other because you're just looking for the trend. It doesn't need to be a strong trend. It just needs to be in the direction of the trend. This entry right here wouldn't count because you can see the wick on top and wick on bottom is basically the same size. this doesn't consider it to be a moderate green candle. Same with this one right here. Wick on top is big, and the wick on the bottom is also big, about the same size. So this would not satisfy the requirements for a moderate green candle. We have this zone over here that's extended. So let me go ahead and just update this. This gets pushed up a little higher, and this gets pushed down a little lower. Red flags here to keep in mind are going to be news price and these sessions. So even if we were to get any entries at this point, it wouldn't fit the criteria because it's too close to these red flags right here. Man, this market sucks. This whole week's been kind of trash. I thought it was going to be a lot better because we had a lot of news this week. Like Monday was trash. Obviously, there was no news. Yesterday was a little better because there was some volatility in the market. Today, I thought was going to be pretty decent too because we had pre-market news. We had news at 7. We got another news event at 7:30. I thought price was going to at least push one way or the other. But looking at the chart from yesterday up until today, price literally hasn't moved in like 24 hours. Price did drop a little bit, came back up, but it literally hasn't moved. If you look at price on different days, it's moving directional, whether it's going up or whether it's going down. Today and yesterday, though, nothing, right? It's literally where it was 24 hours ago. So I think today might be even a worse day than Monday. I thought Monday was bad, but it was just kind of slow, but it was away from everything. Yesterday was better because it was away from all the red flags. Today is just a huge red flag day. Tomorrow we have more news at 5:30. We have unemployment claims. I think tomorrow will be a more volatile day. We have prelim GDP, unemployment claims, prelim GDP index, and then we have natural gas storage at 7:30. We also have the Jack Hole Symposium. So I think tomorrow will be a very volatile day. Today, it just, I mean, there wasn't really much going on. It's been going back and forth. Yeah, Marco said it's only Wednesday, Sean. Still got 2 days. Patience, young Padawan. No, definitely. And I agree with you too, Marco. It is only Wednesday. It's just I feel like we were kind of anticipating more of a move to happen today because of the news events, but it didn't really do much. I mean, if you look at the candles here from open, so opening price is right here, right? Let me just delete this. This is where opening price is, and this is where current price is. Price has only moved 110 pips. Typically on open, market would move at least 1,000 pips. So it hasn't really done, too much. D said I've been needing to learn to sit on my hands more. This week is really teaching me that. Yeah, no, definitely, guys. This is teaching you guys discipline, not to FOMO into trades and hop into stuff that's not really there, right? Which is key. I mean, you guys have to have that ability. It's all about trade psychology. Becky said she's made $10 this week. Maria said 18. Natasha said she's made 30. I know, at least if you guys made profit this week, that's solid. I mean, I made profit this week too. Not like a lot, but I've made like decent profit. So I've only had trades yesterday. I didn't take any trades on Monday. These are my trades from yesterday. So if I was to add it up, I already added up right here from yesterday, actually. I'm up like 6,000 for the week. So it's not that bad across 5 of my accounts, right? For one account, I'm only up like, under 2,000, but times that by 5 with my copiers, I'm doing okay. So it's not necessarily like I shouldn't really be complaining about not taking trades because I'm still a net positive profit for the week. And that's really the key is if you guys can stay net positive for the week, for the month, for the year, that's the main key, right? It's about focusing on not losing rather than focusing on making these huge profits. But obviously you're going to get FOMO if you've been staring at the chart for like hours or not even an hour and you haven't caught anything. It's actually only 7:17 right now. I feel like we've been on these charts for hours, but it hasn't even been 1 hour yet. I think we've been too focused analyzing the charts that it feels like a lot of times has passed, but it hasn't. So let's see, a couple of profits over here from John. So John said good start to the morning. John actually took the sells. His price was dropping below. He locked in 4,560 for the day. All wins and no losses. These green strips show that he hit all of his TPs here. His first trade right here hit his stop loss in profit. So nice work, John. And great consistency there. Emilazon is asking, I am confused about the London low. I have my London low from yesterday at 32,890. Your chart has it at 32,948. What time do you have your, or let me see if you identify your London mission from? So I'm going to try to answer Emil's question here. There's one inch right here, but I think it's too close to the sessions. Yeah, it's too close. Damn, that would have hit TP too. Yep, and it hit TP. So there's a lot of entries here, but there's too close to the sessions, red flags. So this one right here, I mean, I wouldn't have taken it either way. No, I think this would still be too close, Maddie. It's like it's like, so let me measure it. This is like less than, yeah, it's like 20 pips from the sessions right here. So this right here would have been an entry. We have the wick rejection off the structure right here. Trend meter is green, pivots are bullish. We have the bullish momentum signal right there. It would have been a perfect entry. It's just too close to the sessions right here. It's like, this could have easily bounced right off it, or it could have been manipulated. But as you guys can see, this would have been an entry right here. So yeah, Maddie said better safe than sorry. Whole day is a red flag. LOL. Yeah, no, exactly. This whole day is literally red flag. But there's so many entries here we could have taken, but there's too many red flags over here. It's like all these horizontal lines. Now that price is pushing above here, though, this could be good. I mean, it could be a good thing because we can get that rejection off this point. One thing you guys want to be careful for is that this can be a double top. So we got a top right here. And isn't at this point. Madhu's asking, would you take this entry? Are you talking about this candle right here, Madhu? This isn't an entry right here. There's no wick rejection off structure. The wick rejection is outside of the structure right here. So you scroll in a little bit. The candle body is within the structure, so there's no wick rejection. So I wouldn't have taken this. Just merely because of the fact that it's not, a valid entry. Let's see if there's anything else that I'm missing here. Man, that would have been a good entry. This one down here, though. Unfortunately, not. So, but yeah, Madhu, if that's one you're referring to, this one right here, the 719 candle, there's no entry, unless you're talking about a different one. If you want to correct me. Oh gosh, okay. Yeah, so Madhu said I still had zones up from earlier this morning. So I guess there was a zone below there and he identified the rejection. But even if there was an entry off that, Madhu, I wouldn't have taken it. And the reason for that is because this candle here is too big and it's right at the sessions. So for one, or there's like 3 red flags. So sessions, news price and sessions, and this candle is too large. Your stop loss is going to be 300 pips. So if you enter this trade here, candle's bigger than your stop loss. So it would have to retrace before pushing back up. So I definitely wouldn't take that even if it was a trade for those obvious reasons right there. So just clearing that up. Here, let's see. It is 2 hours ahead. 8 minutes. All right, so not much going on here. I was just clearing this up for Milazon. So Milazon was basically asking, why our sessions were different. I was trying to see if his times were aligned. I'm assuming his low is like past that. That's why his because I think in Milazon you're doing it manually, right? So that's probably why. The data here, I already have, like, if you look at the sessions here, everything is kind of lined up here already. So it's not necessary that I draw out these lines here. It's just that our sessions indicator automatically plots it between those periods. So some profits over here from Maddie. Maddie locked in 610 over here on his first account. So nice work right there, Maddie. And then his second account over here, he locked in a total of 2,290. Nice, Maddie. Yeah, so Milzon's low is only off because he went over past an hour. I'm not sure what from my experience, the cutoff is 8 o'clock here in Pacific. So it would have to be 10 o'clock Central where Milzon is located. So that makes sense now, Milzon, why yours was a little different from mine. Let's see, I don't see anything else here right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. It's getting close to 7:30 right here, which is a news event. So we can't take any trades from 7:25 until 7:35. But I think we're in somewhat of a good area. So the reason I'm saying that is because we're pushing away from all of these red flags. If price pushes above here and it stays above this area, then great. We can look for some trades in this direction. What I don't want is I don't want price to cut below here and then screw me over when it's down here, right? Because it's going to be right back where these sessions are. Let me go and update the session. So this is no longer here. This one looks fine. That one looks fine. Middle looks fine. This is gone. All right, so the sessions have updated. This is perfectly fine because now that the sessions have updated, this just means that there's going to be new zones above this area possibly. Let's see. This is different. All right, so the zones actually look a lot nicer now that they've updated. They're not as messy. We still have this green one right here. I'm waiting for this one to disappear because it's kind of useless where it's currently at. But yeah, looking over here, if I take off the SRs, the zones here look pretty solid. The other thing that I like here too as well is that price is consolidating right here, right? This is a good thing because if we didn't have this consolidation phase right here, price would have just pushed up from this area with no retracement. Now that we have consolidation right here, this is perfect because now when price does push above here, I'll feel comfortable taking a buy because it's not going to be considered overextended. Because price pushed up from here, it was overextended. Now it's consolidating. If it pushes up again, it's no longer going to be considered overextended. It'll just be considered a continuation. Oh, gosh. Okay, Madhu. Yes, Madhu is looking at this candle over here. Yeah, it's all good, Madhu. I feel like the market kind of tricks you to see things that you want to see, right? And I'm sure it's happened to a lot of you guys. It's happened to me, like even last week on that one Monday when we took that loss, which could have been easily avoided. If you guys really want to see something, the market will trick you to see what you want to see. Like, you might see that there's a wick rejection here and there's not even a zone around this area. So what you want to make sure is that before you guys take any trades, always make sure to check off every requirement. So if you're applying the SR rejection strategy, you always want to check to make sure that the trend is proper, the wick rejection off structure is proper, and that you're trading in the direction of momentum. It's main things. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, Maddie said consolidation before news. Price over here is consolidating. As it pushes through here. Yeah, it's consolidating right before news. News is coming up in about 2 minutes. Maddie said he wants price to stay below SR, then shoot up and reject off it. Yeah, that's exactly what I want too, Maddie. So I want it to stay below the SR zone. I wanted to shoot above. That's kind of what we're looking for. We're waiting for it to consolidate a bit, shoot past it, retest, and continuation. Yeah, exactly. Maddie said not forcing any trades. Yeah, same here, Maddie. You got to be smart about it, especially during these conditions, because you're going to see a lot of fake outs, a lot of tricky movements here. So check this out, guys. We have the double top right here. Top, double top right here. So now you guys can create a scenario, right? What are the odds of it bouncing off and coming back down, faking out, and then shooting right back up? That's my guess. Like, I think this right here would be a fake out, but I think eventually it's going to break right through it. Main reason for that is because the sentiment here is still somewhat bullish, right? Sentiment right here, this is overall bias. It is currently 58% short, indicating that 58% of retail traders are currently looking to sell. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they're up about 40 points, not very high. But with that said, we have a somewhat bullish bias. It's not strong, it's not moderate. It's more of a neutral bullish bias. So right there, we got the double top. I wouldn't chase the double top. I think this would be a fake out. I think it's going to swing right back up. Yeah, Maddie said I can see a break and retest instead of full reversal. Yeah, no, me too. See the same exact thing that you see right there. All right, so this candle is closing in about 20 seconds. I'm just going to take this off here. When the candle closes, I'm going to go and mark up news price. Looks like it'll close right there. So this is 7:30 or light impact US news, 7:30 a.m. So there goes the news price right there. Thanks, Peter. Peter confirmed that the news was positive. Let's see how market reacts to it. Steven just answered his own question. Steven said to himself, no, Steven, don't take a buy. Yeah, don't take that, Steven. Just wait for it. So yeah, looking over here at the calendar, 7:30, Wednesday, August 24th, crude oil inventories. News was positive. So just be patient, guys. We're still waiting for it to break above and push higher. You just want to be careful for this area right here because obvious reasons, right? Double top could indicate a lot of things. Let's see, Melzon posted this right here. All right, so here we go. Price drops below. and it did the opposite of news. So news was positive. It faked out for a bullish push right here, and then it came down. So as you guys can see, I mean, just looking at the news right here, or looking at the news prices that I mark up, it typically does the opposite. And you guys can see here that it makes sense, right? So for example, right here at 5:30. So 5:30 right here was this news event, right? News was neutral, kind of just consolidated, then it dropped. This news over here was positive, right? So like right here, news was positive at 7 o'clock, pushed up, and then it came back down. This right here, same thing. News was positive, price kind of pushed up to basically trap buyers, and then it just came right back down. So this is why you don't want to trade news, because it doesn't always follow news, and it doesn't always do the opposite. You're really just gambling when you're trading news like that. This doesn't necessarily mean a reversal is happening. This just might be another fake out to the top, fake out to the bottom, correction back to the upside. Right? Just never chase it. If you guys ever see big drops like this, never chase the drop, because odds of you getting caught in a trap is very likely. So, man, again, here we go. We're back at the red flag area where there's nothing that we can take, which is trash, because there's so many entries that could have came up over here. So again, we're just waiting for stuff to happen. If there's any questions, I mean, you guys are more than welcome to ask. I know typically we don't answer questions during the session, but the market is just, there's nothing for us to take right now. And I'd rather answer questions than FOMO into any of these trades here. Because we do have some pretty like solid looking trades. There's trades that we can't take because of the red flags. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'll try to help you guys as much as possible right now. If the market starts to pick up, then we'll take a break from questions. But at the moment, there really isn't anything for us to take right now. Okay, so price is now pushing back up. It's doing exactly what I was just referring to. Fake out to the top side, fake out to the bottom, push right back up right here. So now the price is back up here. We're looking for it to break and close past the structure, come back for the retest, reject off that point, and then we can take the buy from there, right? It's just a matter of time until it actually confirms, which is, I mean, the biggest issue here. It's really just being patient and waiting for that to confirm. I know a lot of you guys are getting FOMO and you guys probably want to take this buy here. I know this would be considered a pivot scalp, but I wouldn't recommend it because there still is no confirmation. If price comes back to this point, it's another rejection point. The zone right here. It could be a triple top, right? We already got a double top right here. This could be another fake out for a triple top. So just, I would recommend just being patient and waiting, because I don't think it's worth the risk. At least not yet. Let's see if there's anything else here that we need to look at. So not much has really happened. Price came back over here. It's retesting news price. So basically a break and retest of news price. Price broke above it, retested. Now it's possibly been pushed back up. But again, price is in consolidation. There just isn't anything going on right here. Going over here to the 1 hour chart, you can see that price is literally back to where it was yesterday. So from this point right here, just go forward. Price hasn't really moved in the last 24 hours. Still within this price point. Oh, man. This market's got me yawning. All right, I guess we're waiting a little longer. 7:38 right now, so we still have about 20 minutes in the market till 8. Hopefully we'll be able to get at least something. All right, let me trade this off. Zoom out a little bit. Zones are fine. There's another zone right here, kind of a useless zone, but still a zone. Here, this is what I'm going to do right here. I'm going to go over here and mark up. I'm just going to take this off. This is pretty much useless because price isn't doing anything. I'm going to go and mark up the areas of liquidity so that we can identify market structure a little better. I just want to have a better picture as to like where I think price is going to go. And I mean, actually, there's not even much here. I thought I was going to see something here, but there isn't. Yeah, there isn't even structure here because everything was already hit. So there was liquidity sitting right here, but it was already hit. So if I like replay this area here, so price was over here at about like 7. It was around news price, over news time, like 7:30. There was liquidity sitting around this area. Price hit it right there, pushed up higher, and then it pretty much just knocked out liquidity. So knocked out liquidity right here, and right here. After that, price just ended up coming back down, and it just recreated liquidity. It's like that liquidity never got hit because it did get knocked out. And then now we just have another area right there building up. So there, I mean, really isn't much for us to follow along to here. It's just back and forth movement. Here goes price drops back below. As you guys can see, it's creating a new range. So it's just creating a really big range right there, right down the middle. Back to this chart, it's coming right back down. There's no entries here for a sell. I mean, it looks like there could have been if the trend meter was red, but the trend meter is green right now. So this right here would have been an entry. If it was red, obviously not a good entry because it was right at the sessions, but I'm just identifying these areas right here. As you can see, our price isn't really doing too much. It's just in this big range at this moment. I'm not really anticipating anything to happen in the next 20 minutes. So if there are any questions, guys, feel free to put them up. If you guys are confused about any of these strategies, confused about what we're identifying, if you're confused about anything, really, just drop them in the chat. Just an FYI, we haven't taken any official trades today. So today or this whole week has been considered a choppy week. Monday, no trades. Tuesday, we took 2 trades. Today, no trades so far. Possibly maybe take 1 today, but it's not looking like it because price is now back to opening price. It's like price didn't do anything for the past hour because market opened here at 6:30 and price is literally back to this area right here. Yeah, sure. Eric's asking, hey, Sean, can you explain liquidity? Yeah, no problem. So let me go over here. I'm just going to clean up this chart. I'm going to mark up this area of liquidity here so I can use this as an example. All right, so this is what I'm going to do here. All right, so the ways that I identify liquidity, and liquidity it basically just means that there's an area, like a price area where there'll be a lot of volatility sitting. So the way that I identify liquidity, and it just means liquidity, right? It's literally what the word means. It's just liquid. So when price reaches these points, price is liquid, and it's not just slowly moving. It just breaks through them and shoots right through. But the way that I identify liquidity is that since I'm a contrarian trader, what I do is the opposite of everybody, right? So looking over here at the sentiment, we've already identified this from this morning. We knew that this was at like 60% short, right? So this showed that 60% of retail traders are selling. So if people are selling and you go over here to the charts, when people enter a sell position, where do they place their stop loss? They place them at the previous swings, right? If you've ever taken any other trading course by anybody, really, everyone places their stop losses in the same place. They're sitting at these swings. So for example, if someone was entering a short position, say over here, right? Say they saw this waterfall, they enter a sell. Where's their stop loss sitting? At the swing, right? Which is right here. Vice versa right here. Price is dropping again. They enter a sell. Where's their stop loss? At the swing, right? So what I've identified here is with this K2 high-low indicator, I've identified that this is where the stop losses are sitting. There's a lot of stop losses sitting right here, which will equate to liquidity, because what happens when these stop losses are hit, they get knocked out, right? When they get knocked out, what happens to those stops? Or what happens to these sells? They get turned into buys, because in order to get out of a sell, you have to trade it for a buy. So if these areas right here get hit, so like say, for example, this gets hit, this gets hit right here, right? These are all like these are all pending buy orders, because in order for these orders to close out and get stopped out, they get flipped. So they get flipped from sells to buys. And that's how I identify liquidity here. So as you can see, we have all this liquidity sitting right here. The reason why I'm looking for liquidity on the buy side is because I'm doing the opposite of everyone else. Everyone's selling, I'm buying, right? So with that said, I'm just waiting for their stop losses to get hit. I'm sure you've probably heard of the term stop loss hunt, where you see these random spikes in price. They're not really random because it's liquidity getting hit. You know, the same thing happened right here. If you look at the opposite direction, you can see that there was liquidity sitting right here, right? If you wanted to look at it from that perspective. It's not necessarily random because you already know where the stop losses are placed. So like price didn't necessarily just randomly drop right here. There's liquidity here, right? So when price hit these areas, price just dumped because it went through those stop loss hunts. So back to what I was saying over here for the current example. As you can see, we have liquidity marked up here. We only knew that this was going to happen because we were looking for buys anyways. And as price reaches this point, you'll see that these stop losses start to get hit. So look at this big spike right here, this huge candle. This isn't random. It's just that these stop losses here got triggered. It pushed it to this next level of stop losses. This got triggered, and then it pushed to this next level of stop losses, and they got triggered as well. So basically all these stops got hit and it switched to buys, pushed up there. And then there's another area right here that still needs to get hit to pretty much wipe out everyone who was selling earlier, who basically got trapped or got lured into those sells. So as price continues to push along, you can see right here, it hits the area, it drops down a little bit, but it's not done yet. It needs to finish this area over here. Price pushes up again, pushes up a little higher. It just consolidates a little bit to basically trick more people to enter sells. Because what happens here is like, so this area right here, right? What happens when price consolidates? These same people that got stopped out, they're like, oh, I just got unlucky, right? They think they got unlucky. They re-enter the trade because they're like, oh crap, I just got stopped out here because something random happened. It wasn't random. We already knew their stop losses were there. So price over here kind of drops a little bit. And then at that point, the market basically just traps more sellers in the market because they're like, okay, I want to re-enter the trade, because it always happens. You lose a trade and you're like, oh, I had bad luck, I'm going to re-enter it. They re-enter the trade, and then it gives them that second blow to knock them out again. So right here, it just goes sideways, and they think, okay, price has to drop from this point, right? I just got unlucky. Price has to drop. Market does the opposite, and it actually stops them out again. Right there. And there's a final blow. And then all these people got their account blown, basically. And at that point, market's done messing with these people. And what happens at that point, it comes right back down. And I'm sure this has happened to a lot of you guys. And you get pretty pissed off because you're like, man, I just got screwed by the market. And yeah, you really did, because it's all been like it's all like preconditioned, right? Like we knew this was going to happen. And then the people who are doing the opposite or are basically, following what everybody else is doing, got stopped out from that point. So hopefully that makes sense, Eric. It's a bit of a tricky concept to learn. But the way that I teach it, I think makes a lot more sense compared to how others teach liquidity. So yeah. If there's anything else that you want me to cover regarding that, just let me know. But I think that should make sense. You'll see it more. You'll see it more and more. Like, this is just from today. But if you keep looking at the markets every day, you'll see that the same thing happens almost every time. Like again, right here, we have more liquidity market. Well, right now it's not really a good area because there's like only two areas, or there's one actually right here. But once you start to see them build up, like you see a bunch of levels right here, you're like, okay, that's going to be an area where I'm going to be looking for, because I'm looking for that stop loss hunt. And that's another area, another way to trade as well. We used to call those liquidity pushes. So, all right, price is pushing up right here. Thanks, Stanley, for the heads up. Price is finally pushing back up, but it's still in this red flag area. I need price to be above here for me to take a trade. Hopefully we can get that maybe in the next 10 minutes. If not, unfortunately, there's not going to be any trades today. But as Maddie's mentioned and everyone else has mentioned, it's better to be safe than sorry. You guys don't want to take anything that's too risky, especially on a day like this where market isn't really giving you much direction. So yeah, no problem, Eric. All right, so let's see. We're still looking for something here. I don't see anything for us to take at the moment. Price is still pushing up a little higher. This is going to be our target area. The zone over here just got extended a little bit. So I'm going to go and push this out slightly and pull this down slightly. So whenever you guys get a new zone like that, and the zone pretty much is just like a little bigger than what the other zone is, all you guys have to do is draw one big zone instead of drawing two separate zones. You can, if you want to draw two separate zones, you can, but it's easier to just draw one big one. Man, there we go. Price cuts right back into the area where we don't want it to be in. Red flag area. So, all right, guys, we got 10 minutes till 8. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Otherwise, we'll try to maybe at least catch one trade. If there's no trade that comes up today, unfortunately, we're just going to have to skip another day this week, unfortunately, which sucks. I was hoping for at least one trade. Again, right here, there's one that's pending. But here's the good news, guys. It's August 24th. It's getting close to September. So a lot of this slow market movement is going to be over with. So as we get close to the end of summer and we start to enter fall mid-September, we're going to start to have a lot more movement. So don't worry. This happens. This is typical market conditions for summer. If you guys are new to summer trading, expect this next year. It's going to happen again around June. So wait for like June and you'll see the market to slow down from June until September. But yeah, this is nothing new. I mean, it's nothing weird. This is just how the market moves in the summer. Just adjusted that right there. All right, so it's 6:52 right now. Price is pushing up a little higher. Let me see if it gets up to that point in the next 8 minutes or so. If not, then we're just going to wrap it up. So, all right, price is rejecting off news price over here. It's pushing up a little higher. All right, so looking at everything here, we still currently have an overall bullish bias. Sentiment is currently 57% short. It's not very strong, but it is still bullish. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they're currently up 40 points, not very much, still bullish. Looking over here at the technicals, it's still bullish as well. Price is above the pivots. Pivots are angling up. Green pivot is over red. Trend meter is also green as well. So everything here lines up. Yeah. Maddie also mentioned clean SR, but red flag. And Alexander as well, you're spot on. He said pivot scalp full TP too, but red flags. So the pivot scalp right here that Alexander mentioned would have been a full TP right there for 100 pips. And then again right here, another SR rejection, full TP right there. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of entries here that could have been taken. I think there's about 5 or 6 entries that could have been taken. The only problem is that it's at these red flags, areas where you don't want to be trading because there's high manipulation around news price, sessions, opening price, etc. And you guys don't want to be risking it because you can just wait for a better trade, right? You don't have to trade every single trade, and you don't have to trade every single day either. So, all right, price is pushing up slightly. One thing that you guys want to be careful for is don't jump the gun, right? Because this can still be a double top. So top right there, this can be a double top right here. So don't just enter a buy because you think price is going to push past it and continue pushing. Wait for it to actually break above, come back for the retest, and provide an actual entry. Because this could be a double top fake out. So just, keep that in mind. So a couple profits over here. Scotty posted his profits. He took some trades off the analysis this morning. You can see all the timestamps. He took this at 744, 745, 747, and 751. Nice trades right here. All wins, no losses. Total profit of 895 for the day. So great work right there, Scotty. John over here as well. John is currently up 6,640 for the day. All wins, no losses. He took that pivot scalp trade earlier. And it hit full TP. So great work right there, John. All right, man. So it looks like a lot of you guys are still doing pretty solid, even though there's no official trades today, unfortunately. But glad to see like a lot of you more experienced traders here in K2 are still taking trades off the analysis. If you guys aren't taking trades and you guys are starting to feel that FOMO, don't worry. As Marco said earlier, it's only Wednesday, guys. We still have tomorrow to trade and Friday if you guys do decide to trade that day. Just an FYI, we won't be having the mentoring session, or not mentoring session. We won't be having the live session on Friday. I'm going to keep reminding you guys on Friday. Unfortunately, I'm flying out to Cabo San Lucas in Mexico, so it's going to conflict with my flight. Same with my last flight to Hawaii. So unfortunately, we won't be having a live session that day, but it's okay because that day is actually a bad day to trade because the news over here. We have pre-market news. We have pre-market news at 5:30, which is high impact core PCE price index. And then at 7 o'clock, we have federal chair or Fed Chair Powell speaking. If you guys are not familiar with Powell or Jay Powell, whatever you guys want to call him, you should definitely not be trading when he's speaking because whenever he speaks, this is like when massive manipulation happens in the market because everyone buys because they think he's good for the market, which he is good for the market. But it's going to cause a lot of spikes in price. Spread's going to be super wide. The volatility is going to be crazy. If your stop loss is too tight, you're going to get stopped out like immediately. If it is going your direction. So you definitely don't want to trade tomorrow at 7 or anytime after 7. So you basically don't want to trade 30 minutes before or 2 hours after he starts speaking because people do want to trade prior to when he speaks. And it causes a lot of uncertainty in the market because, and if you guys are still not familiar with JPOW, I'll just Google him real quick. So this is Jerome Powell, right? If you look at Jerome Powell meme, you'll see that this, like a lot of these, what are they called? Like Wall Street bets and stuff, right? Like a lot of people who gamble in the market, they base a lot of their trades off Powell. They think just because Powell like has good things to say about the economy, he's like a money printer, right? Like he's a Burr machine. You see that print money and stuff. Like if you look at all this stuff here, I'm looking for the computer one. It's funny where forgot where it's at. Or like this, where it says fuck your puts. Basically puts are like sells when you're trading options. There's like this one meme, it's funny. It's like when your trade is like going horribly bad, but you're in a buy position and Powell starts speaking and it just pumps all the way up. Oh, like right here. See a red candle, Jerome Powell speaks, let's stimulate it. Price goes shooting straight up. So this is why you guys don't want to trade, because even though you will think that price is going to go up, price might do the opposite, because the market makers already know this. Like this isn't a secret. A lot of retail traders like to buy when Powell speaks. So what happens is the market makers, they like to mess with people. They'll push price a little bit up, and then they'll just dump it right back down, and they'll just keep manipulating price up and down to pretty much stop out the retail traders. So for Friday, I would probably recommend not trading. You're going to see a lot of manipulation pre-market because we have news, and then we have Powell speaking at 7, and then he's going to speak for maybe at least an hour to 2 hours. So even during the entire live session time, you wouldn't be able to take trades from 7 to 8 anyways. So if you guys do want to trade during that period, I do recommend using a small lot size, because with the high volatility, there's going to be a lot of slippage. And if you're using too big of a lot size, you can easily blow your FTMO, with one mistake. So just be careful about it. Yeah, John said we need to talk to the airlines about scheduling around more morning trades. No, I agree. I was going to trade at the airport, but the connection there isn't necessarily the best. And unfortunately, the airport over here in Orange County doesn't have a lounge. So there's no Amex lounge over here or Centurion lounge. So the internet is going to be kind of crappy. So I wouldn't want to risk it. Maddie said logging off. See you tomorrow, Sean. Yeah, definitely, Maddie. We will see you tomorrow. MJ said lounges are for drinking, not for work. I know, right? They need to open one here in OC. I don't know why they don't have one. Like, this is such a big, it's not necessarily a big airport, but a lot of people fly out of here. Yeah, no, John Wayne they have lounges, but it's like the Alaskan lounge. It's not, it's like a crappy lounge, not a good one. It's not an Amex one. Dejan says Sean takes a trade in the airport and it fills 5 minutes after. I know, right? Because it's so laggy. I wouldn't want to risk that. But all right, guys, it's 8 o'clock. Unfortunately, there was no official trades today. If you guys did take trades and made profit, great work. But it's okay. So it's only Wednesday. We still have tomorrow to trade. Hopefully tomorrow will be a lot better. Let me check the news for tomorrow. Tomorrow, Thursday, August 25th, we have news at 5:30 pre-market, and then we have news at 7:30. So I think tomorrow should be a little more volatile because we do have unemployment claims, which is going to affect the market pretty heavily, pre to NFP next week, and then also prelim GDP. We also have the Jackson Hole Symposium. So we got a lot of stuff going on tomorrow, which will probably cause price to, bounce around a bit more, causing more volatility and increase our ability to take these scalps. So other than that, guys, if you guys don't have to trade, I would just sit out the market. I'm not going to trade. I'm going to close. I'm MT4 right now, actually, because I already know how I FOMO after we get off these lives. So I got that closed. We're good. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to email me or message me on Telegram. Otherwise, I will see you guys here tomorrow for the next live session as we wrap up the week for August week 3 or week 4. I don't even know what week are we in anymore. So other than that, guys, I will see you guys then.